Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing this set here. This is from the Falling Leaves collection. So this is set number 2 that I've made with that collection. So this pendant and this pair of earrings, there will be a tutorial on both of these pieces today. So for this video, I've done it in a slightly different format. Basically, I'll be showing you my thought process on how I actually create these pieces with what you get in each collection. So this collection in particular with the leaves and everything. Honestly, it does not start out like this. Also, before I begin, I just wanted to let you know that closer to the end of the video, I do show you an alternative to this particular piece here. So this is the bar that I made. I made this in my last video as well, which I will leave a link in it in the description for you on how to do that. But if for some reason you just don't feel comfortable making this piece here, I do offer an alternative in the video. It's closer to the end of the video, so just keep watching to the end. You'll see what I'm talking about with this piece. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So I pulled some things from the Falling Leaves collection. This here is the 53mm brass leaf pendant. This is rose gold plating on these pendants. These ones here are the 15x10mm brass leaf charms. These here are the 28x15mm green aventurine carved. These are leaf, pendant, and bail. So these came with bails, but we're going to use those as earrings today. So I just put the bails away. The 8mm aventurine faceted round beads. The 4mm crystal faceted bicon beads, these are in Magma AB. The 10mm carnelian matte round beads, these are dyed and heated. And then I've got a pair of ear wires that I got from Eureka Crystal Beads. I only have 2 of this color left, so yeah, good thing we're doing earrings. I've only got 1 pair left. Then I have an assortment of jump rings, small, medium, and large. It doesn't really matter what size you guys pick. I just picked 3 of the sizes that I got. These I got from Michaels. Now this is copper wire. This is half round copper wire. This is probably going to come in handy when I do the earrings. So I'm going to use this. This is 21 gauge. This is the round on one side and flat on the other. And you guys know that I use a lot of this wire, like a lot. And an assortment of tools, so round nose pliers, flat nose pliers, and little wire cutters. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do today, so we're going to actually design these pieces together as we go, because I have no clue. I just picked, beads that I really like out of this collection, and of course these 2 came in the collection for me anyway. They did. 2 came in for me, and I thought, oh, they would make a nice pair of earrings, but that's just not my style, so I am going to make a pendant out of these. So I'm going to take a piece of my half round wire. It's not going to be a very big piece. I'm using probably about 2.5 inches of this one here. I'm going to take my small flat nose plier. I'm going to build myself a head pin. Now you can use actual head pins if you have some. I don't normally use a lot of head pins, so I don't have this color. So I'm going to make my own head pins, and I'm going to take that wire and I'm going to press it around that pair of pliers. So I'm going to press these in. I'm going to add one of these flat leaf charms. And you can add one of these 8mm if you want. I think that'll look really pretty. We can add even one of these 4mm if you want. That looks really pretty. So now I'm going to make my loop at the top. Bend the 2 wires over your round nose pliers, and then shift those pliers back like that. Bend it all the way around till you've got it looking like that. And take some of those ends off, put this back on, and then just flatten those out with my flat nose pliers. This one I made just a tiny bit smaller because I only want to use a couple of the bicones. So this one's a slight bit smaller, maybe by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to use one. And I'm just going to put a bicone bead on top of this particular leaf. Always make sure that your half round wire is sitting very close to itself when you put it through these beads. That looks nice. I'm going to press mine down just a little bit and then make my loop. Trim off. So basically I do 1 to 2 loops and then I trim off. You don't want to have too much half round wire left here because it'll get bulky. So I like to take it. I mean, some pieces you don't mind if it's a little bit bulky, but for this particular piece I don't want it to be too bulky. So I have one more leaf pendant and I'm just trying to figure out what will look better here. Maybe this one. I'm going to go back to the 2.5 size. Always remember, right in the middle with your flat side facing you and press up. And I'm going to take my last leaf bead, or leaf charm I guess. And I'm going to put that 10 millimeter carnelian on there. That's pretty. Going to take a little bit off there and press them in. So I'm going to do about a 2-inch piece. Get it right in the middle there. I've decided to grab a couple of 11/0 seed beads just to put on the bottom of this, like that, just to have a finished bottom for these bicone beads. So I'm going to make a couple of these little guys. Maybe. And when you're doing, when you're pressing these wires around to finish off, just be careful with the bicone beads. They are crystal, so they can break really easy. So just go very, very gently when you're finishing this type of bead. So this is one of the spare bars that I made from my last video. It'll either come up on the screen, either here or here. And I will also leave a link to that video in the description box. So go have a look at that. It's very, very simple to make. And so I've decided to incorporate this same design into my next design. I'm just buffing it with my Cleaning Pro Polish pads. These pads, look at my fingers. These pads work great to buff up copper wire, silver wire. And I really love the way that it looks when it's all nice and like, look at that. That is so pretty. You wouldn't think that it would be this dirty. I just cleaned it a while back. Kind of been thinking that I'm going to use it in this design. Now, if you're the type of person that likes everything to be symmetrical, then I would suggest you could do something like that, which actually is very pretty, actually. It actually is very pretty. I think I might actually do that. I actually had a plan to kind of offset them a little bit, so I was going to do something along this line, you know, but actually this looks really pretty, actually. I think I will do that. So I'm just thinking out loud here, you guys. This is the process that I actually do go through when I'm designing a piece. I find it hard sometimes to video when I do design my piece, like to show you what I've done, because this piece, like these leaves and what I've been thinking about, has changed. I've attempted to do 2 other videos, and this piece has actually changed for me in design quite a bit with these leaves. But I think that'll be nice there. With these here, you know, we could hang them. We could do something like this. So this is what I have decided to do. I really like the way that this looks. And this is basically how I do a lot of my pieces. This is how I design a lot of my pieces. I'll lay things out, see how it looks. Like I said, I've done I started 2 different videos because I had different ideas about what I wanted to do, but they weren't working out. I didn't like the way they looked. But this one here, I think, looks really unique. So we're going to start putting this together. So I'm just going to take these off because I don't need these on here right now. And honestly, you can make as many of these as you want. Now, I used 4. First, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these to my bar, and then I'll figure out how to add those other beads afterwards. So I'm just grabbing some flat nose pliers. I'm going to grab some round nose pliers. I might not need all these, but I do like to have them handy. Even nylon pliers just for wire. So for starters, I am going to use the mid-size jump ring. So I had small, medium, and large. This one I'm going to guesstimate is approximately a 4mm jump ring, approximately. And I'm just going to, you know, open it up to the side there. And I'm going to add my 2 leaves. I'm going to put it on my bar. If I can get it in there, I might have to close this up. So I'm going to close this up just a little bit. And I'm going to put the bar in there. So now I'm going to put the bar in facing me. Okay. And I'm going to slide it in there. Now you don't want to scratch, so we're just going to open up that a little bit. You don't want to scratch the bar, so leave a little bit of space so you can slide in there quite easy, because you don't want to scratch that bar. And then I'm just going to close it up. We've added the bar to the leaves. Now because I want my leaves to sit like this, okay, I want my leaves to sit like this. So at this point I got to decide how I'm going to do this, whether it's like that. I think we'll go like that. We can even do one more here. Could do that as well. I don't think it's going to matter because these are going to be sitting in here. You know, like these are going to be kind of covering that. So I think that's going to be all right. So basically, I wanted to choose this space right there. I'm just going to pick this up and show you. So if you look at the leaves here, you see these long skinny spaces. I'm going to put those together, and that's how they're going to sit. I think that's the best option. So this is the very, very small. So that might even be a 3mm, 2 or 3mm right there. It's very, very small. The smallest that I have in my stash. I'm going to line up those 2 spaces. And hopefully I can get this in here without too much of a fight. Sometimes it's a little bit of a fight. Don't give up. You want to win that fight. Okay, there we go. Now that I have the jump ring going through those two spaces, I'm going to ever so gently close it up. Okay, and as you can see, now these leaves are going to stay in that position. And now we're ready to start adding our beads. So I'm going to put that one probably there. So let's add that first. If we don't like it, the nice thing is we can always take it off. And I did have a small ring added to this one here, but I'm going to take it off because it's not going to sit on there properly with that. One of the reasons I really like to use half round wire is because this here can attach to that, and you can kind of eliminate as much as possible the use of jump rings. I do love jump rings, don't get me wrong. It's during this time that you got to be really patient, because putting this kind of thing together like this can be a little bit tasking. The piece moves, or it moves out of the way, and you know, your bead falls or your jump rings snap and they're gone. I've had that happen so many times where my jump ring just, it decides to snap out of my pliers and it disappears. I'm sure there's lots on the floor right now that I don't even know are there from years ago. Don't lose your patience. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. Okay. And at this point now, I'm just going to start placing some of these pieces where I'd like them to be. I'm just going to offset these just a little bit because I think they'd look really nice, slightly offset from each other. This is the mid-size jump ring. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this jump ring in this space right here between the two leaves. Now they're both leaves are overlapping. This is the space they've created between them. I am going to add this jump ring right there. Now this might not work, I don't know. Basically what I'm doing is I'm designing as I'm recording. I'm not designing first and then recording after. You are joining me on this journey. So this is where it gets a little bit funky, a little bit difficult, because you're dealing with, you know, findings that are difficult to put together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press those with my pliers there, and then I'm going to tighten it up. Sometimes it's easier just to do that. And this little guy is going to be jumping around, but I like to keep him on there because I just want to be able to see what I'm creating. So as you can see now, this one is sitting on the opposite side, so that's nice. Okay, that works for me. I like it. So I'm going to use another mid-size jump ring, and I'm going to put this one between this space that the two leaves have created. All right. So I'll go again. Hopefully this sits where I want it to. I'm going to add this to that jump ring. And I'm going to close these up this way like I did with the last one. Just press that jump ring together, and then when it's close, you can take your two pliers. And this is where we are at so far. I think that looks really nice. It's definitely different. Now we do have a jump ring here that we can utilize. I'm just going to take this and hold this with the pliers because I want to be able to see what I'm going to do here. So now I think that'll look really nice. That kind of covers up the other jump rings that are sitting there. The jump ring that is on these two leaves that are holding the leaves together is slightly tight, but that's okay. We don't want that one to move around too much. But because of that situation, I just have to be a little bit careful. So I'm going to add this leaf This little guy is going to be getting in the way, but that's all right. We'll work that out. I'm going to take, oh, okay. So he decided to come off himself. That's fine. Let's put this on here. Okay, so I'm going to put on that last leaf. And I think that looks really, really good. I think I'm going to leave him off now that I know which one is front. So we'll add him back later. Okay. So there we are with our initial design. And it's looking really nice. Like, that looks really pretty. That looks nice. So I've got 2 more of these little bicone beads that I made. This is the part I really enjoy, is trying to figure out where I'm going to put everything, what's going to look the best. You know, I always think, will I wear this? I'm going to put this bar back on here. Sometimes I'm the type of person that I really need to see what I'm doing. Like, I really need to, I'm a tactile person. I need to see everything, like what it's going to look like with all its components. Sometimes that's not easy because you can't always add every component all at the same time. I do try to make sure I can have all the components added on here so I can really see what, you know, what we're looking at. Plus, how it's going to hang while you're wearing it. And oh, this is so pretty. This is going to be really, really nice. There we are with our piece. And I did make these 2 pieces, and I do really want to add them. I'm trying to get them in here, but honestly, where the leaf overlaps, it doesn't make it easy to add the small jump rings, which is what I want to do with these 2. I don't want to add great big jump rings. Sometimes a jump ring being too big can really overtake the bead or the embellishment that you're trying to add. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to add them right here. I think it looks pretty. It adds a little bit to the piece, like a little bit of a finished look, I guess. Anyway, if it doesn't look good when I'm all done, I can always take them off. And basically I am utilizing this small little space right here, that one, on each leaf. Just go slow. So at this point, we can say that we're done. You add some jump rings here with some chain and you're done. I'm probably going to do a little bit more, and we will cover that in this video. Now you can totally make this design without the bar. You don't have to use the bar with this, what I've done here, but I prefer to use the bar. I just like the way that it looks with this added to it. And you know, you can keep it so that it swings, which is fine. One of the ideas that I had to keep it stable is there are some people that don't want it to swing back and forth. You can add some of this chain. They give you a lot of chain in these collections. When they do give you chain, it's quite a bit. And this is one of the pieces that I have left from the last piece that I made. You can attach this here and attach it to the jump ring when you put it there. We can do that. And up here, that would also look nice. We could also do something like this. You could actually take this piece and go right here and attach it like that as well, which I think this would look really good. So for the loops that I made on the bar, and again, you can go watch that video and I show you how to do that. I'm going to use the largest jump ring that I have in my collection. This would be about a 5 to 6 millimeter. And we're going to put that through here. At this point, I don't mind using the bigger jump rings on the bar because the bar is quite big itself. And I think it looks really good putting the bigger jump ring on the bar. And the fact is that these bigger jump rings are a little bit bigger in gauge. They are quite a bit stronger, and this is where you want your stronger jump rings to be, is on your main, you know, holding the main pendant to whatever chain you decide to put on here. You want it to be quite strong. So I'm going to lift that one up because I'm going to go under that So like what I'll do is I'll add this to here. So I'm going to open this back up again. I'm going to add that chain. To that. So I am going to trim this. So I took the jump ring right off. I'm going to add it to the chain like that because that's straight, and we're going to add it to the other side. So I'm just going 14 over. I counted 27. I believe my math is correct. So I am liking it. And there is our finished piece. And with the chain in there, it'll keep it centralized so it doesn't, you know, go back and forth. And I think that is really, really pretty, like the chain and the bar. Again, you don't have to use the bar. I use the bar because I like the way that it looks, but this is beautiful. And with the leaves and the beads, a little bit of pop of green in there. Then all you have to do is add your chain to the jump rings and then just use a set of the toggle clasps that came in the pack. These are the 20 by 25 millimeter toggle clasps. So I'm going to use these pendants. They called these pendants in the description, but because we got two, I'm going to use them as earrings to match with the pendant we just made. The only thing I don't like about the two of these is that the loops on the top are silver. They are not a brass color like what's in the rest of the collection. All the findings, the chain, everything is a different color. So this is a little bit, it's not a big deal. We can cover it. Okay, you guys, this is going to be a very super easy design. I'm going to use 21 gauge half round wire in copper. This is bare copper wire. And pull out some of your 7mm electroplated hematite synthetic nugget beads. That's these ones here. So I've pulled out two from the Falling Leaves collection. So here they are here. We might possibly use some of these 4mm bicones. I'm not really sure. Again, this is a work in progress, but these are going to be very, very easy. And these are going to go really good with the pendant we just made. So I'm going to cut a piece of this half round wire in about 3.5 inches. And I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I am going to do as I always do and put the pliers right pretty much in the middle of this wire. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but right about there. And push it up as always, just squeezing around the plier a little bit. We're going to put the leaf on there. And we're going to use one of these leaves, bring it down and around and there. And what we've created here is we've hidden that silver loop at the top of the leaf. Then we're just going to add one of these barrel beads. I'm just going to leave it like that. Again, you could add more if you want. You don't have to. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to do my loop-de-loops. Now just for something different, I'm going to go around. I'm going to take the wire. I'm going to go around that barrel bead. And what you want to do is just really gently, because you want to leave that loopy there. You want to leave this loop here. And I'm going to go around. So you grab those two wires in the back while you're holding this loop here, because you don't want that to turn. You want to leave it there. And like that. I'm going to snip the ends. I'm going to put the loop back in there. And I'm going to press the ends in. I'm going to hold everything in place and I'm going to twist it so that the loop is adjacent with the front of the piece. And the reason you're doing that is because your e-wire is going to poke through that side and you want it to be sitting in the front. So like that. You see the loop is adjacent to the front of the bead, like the front of the leaf. And then what I want to do is I'm going to just take my nail and I'm going to pull those two wires apart. And what you've created is a little bit of beautiful texture on the barrel bead. And I've got a set of ear wires that match the color of the brass here. And I am going to attach that. Same as your jump rings. You open it to the side. I'm going to feed it through that loop. Now there was no ear wires in this collection, unfortunately, so you're going to have to dig into your own stash or go get some. And there we go. Isn't that pretty? Just a really nice completed look. A little bit of texture there. I love that. Let's do the other earring. So before you begin the second earring, just remember, if you're like me, you're going to want this leaf to be opposed to this leaf. I like this type of look on my earrings. I don't like my earring beads to face the same way. So just take note that when you're putting everything together, if that's important to you, just to make sure that this is the front, just like this one, right? They're both facing the opposite direction. So when you put them on, this leaf is going into you this way, and this leaf is going facing into you this way. So let's get this done. And as you can see, this set goes really, really well together. The greens and the brass and the leaves, really beautiful, and a perfect set for fall, even though I know fall is almost over. At least around here anyway, it's trying to snow. I think this set turned out really, really nice. A really good use of these really big leaves. I think they look gorgeous here. I like how this these dangling bicones here really bring the whole piece together, and the chain in here just brings a really beautiful element that you don't normally see. I really like the chain added in here. It brings a look and a little bit of little more texture while maintaining the structural look of the piece. So when you wear it, this here is not going to be going back and forth. So sometimes when I build pieces like specifically the pendant here, I do it with, you know, while maintaining a beautiful look to the piece. I also think about structure and how the wearer is going to wear the piece, how it's going to move on somebody, if it's going to look funny when it does move around. I always think about those things. So sometimes when you see some of my pieces, you might be wondering why I've added this or why I've done that. And a lot of times it's the structure also in the piece that you have to think about when you're making a piece like this. So the structure is very important, and that's why this chain is here, not only for structure, but I mean, it looks beautiful too. And a lot of people wouldn't really notice that that's the reason why it's sitting there, but that is part of the reason why it's sitting there. Plus, it does look really pretty. So even if I didn't need that structural reinforcement of the chain, I could put the chain on here and let it hang a little bit, but this is beautiful. It looks great. And if you wanted, like I said, you don't have to use the bar, but I think the bar gives just that finished look to the whole piece. The one thing I wanted to mention too is you can use memory wire. If you are not comfortable with working with actual wire and hammering it down like I did in the last video, if you're not really comfortable with that, use memory wire. You can get memory wire in, the only two colors that I got memory wire in so far is the silver, and then I did do a pair of earrings in memory wire, but this colored wire is a little bit different color. If you have memory wire though, and you choose to make a bar out of memory wire instead, at least with the memory wire, you can cover it like with these beads here. Like you could do, you know, you could put these beads on it, you know, and cover the color of the memory wire underneath. I've done that in the past as well. So like I said, if you're not comfortable with working with wire, hammering the wire and making your own shaped bar, then definitely try memory wire, silver, or this brass color here, or this this is like a faux gold. If you do try that, please share your creations with me. I would love to see this done with memory wire. I think it would be pretty too. Okay, everybody, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was clear enough with everything that I did. I know it took a little bit longer to go through this video, showing you, you know, exactly what the thought process is. It can take some time. And like I said in the video, I had already made a couple other videos trying to do different scenarios with this piece here. But I mean, that's the way that it goes with pieces like this sometimes. Sometimes they'll start out one way and then they end up being completely different, which is the beauty of the process of making pieces like this and having a lot of fun doing it. You guys have a great day, and I would love to see you back here for my next video. Bye.